out there, but the guys handled the transition to pads very well as far as tempo, physicality, what we're looking for, stay off the ground but compete, hit, be physical. I thought they did a great job. Good veteran leadership today.
Just talked to Mo a second ago, and he was saying that the line is back together, continuity. How crucial is their play going to be, especially at the start of the season, to helping Bryce Young getting used to the speed of the game and the pressure that's coming from the defense?
Yeah, I mean, our philosophy is it all starts up front, really, on both sides of the ball. And it's one of the things that we're really excited about coming back, coming to this team. A somewhat established offensive line, a great O-line coach. And I know there was a lot of talk about what was done last year as far as the O-line, but I think everybody has that mindset. This is a new year. We got to prove it, and it's going to start up front.
Are you confident where they are right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, we got a long way to go. We got things to clean up, but it's a good group. Not only the starting five, but I feel really good about the depth. And unfortunately in this league, you always need that up front, but feel good about that whole room.
Right. Even though it was first day in pads, you didn't see a ton of real physical aggressiveness. Is that your approach, that even when the pads come on, you're trying to take care of these guys?
There are definitely guidelines, like for instance, we're going to thud it off in the hole where it's necessary, like in between the tackles, but out in space, we're going to be smart. And so really we're looking for a lot of that physical work, which you see like when the O-liner and D-liner are together, kind of in pods and one-on-ones and that, things like that. And when we get into team run periods, up front, it's pretty physical. But as far as tackling to the ground and stuff like that, we will have some live periods. There will be more live periods with the latter groups and not as much the first group, but still feel like we can get good physical work.
Frank, Brian Burns, contract thing going on, it'd be easy for him to go 50% or so. What have you seen? It looks like he's going all out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still getting to know Brian, right? I mean, but my sense is he doesn't have 50% in him, like he's a competitor. I think we all know that and feel that. So respect the way he's approaching this. I think I leave the contract stuff to Scott to handle, and I'm just worried about coaching the guys out here. But it just seems like he's taking a very professional approach to it, and it makes a lot of sense and good for him.
Frank, on the defensive line, Mark Palmer calls more of that natural one technique, zero technique, nose tackle. He seems kind of like a rarity in that defensive line room. What has he brought to the defense so far?
Yeah, he is. He is that traditional nose tackle that you're talking about. But the thing about him, Marquand, is he's got some explosive twitch in his body. So he's got some quickness, got explosiveness, and can really cause some disruption inside. So that's really what we're looking for. And we're looking for it on a consistent basis. That's always the thing that you're really mostly looking for from that guy. It's got to be done on a consistent basis.
Frank, when you look back at the tape of Cade last year, Cade Mays, and you see him on the offensive line, you see him getting some snaps at fullback even. What has made you impressed about his game and why you like it so much?
I think his mental approach, I think he's a really smart player. I think he's continued from just listening to Coach Camp and talk about him, he just continued to mature in every way, mentally, physically, understanding the game, his approach. So excited about what I've seen in the short time I've been here, and excited about the first handful of days in camp.
Kobe Jones made a couple of plays where he was in the backfield. What have you seen from him so far in camp?
Yeah, great point, because Kobe looked really good in OTAs, and he was one of the guys like, okay, let's see, he's flashing in OTAs, doing a good job, and now today's the next step of putting pads on. And so looking for those guys to flash in that consistency, and he did. He made a few plays in the backfield today for sure.
Hey Frank,
he had three.
Dante, you weren't here last year obviously, but Dante Jackson is having a good season. He's always been considered one of the fastest players on the team. What are you seeing from him in terms of, are you seeing that speed back after the Achilles injury?
Yeah, see speed, see body quickness, foot quickness, instinct and savvy. So just getting to know him, I'm excited. I mean, he's got that way about him. Got some confidence to him. So you know, just keep him healthy and keep progressing him. He's full of speed, you see it, and just keep getting him, you know, as far as volume where he can be on the field more and more.
Frank, to follow
Had to talk to him about confidence.
No, that's not lacking.
Frank, to follow up Vashti's question about Kobe, he excelled with speed. We saw Marquise excel with speed. When the pads get on, what are you looking for that's maybe different than you would see in a non-contact drill?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. You know, on the edge, we're looking for guys who can set a hard edge. That's a really big deal in any defense, right? And certainly in our defense with the different ways that we set an edge. So, you know, and then interior-wise, you know, with our scheme, you know, we're looking for guys who can play our gap and a half scheme. You know, it's different than the traditional one gap scheme up the field. You know, we're a gap and a half, generally speaking, a gap and a half scheme defense. And so we're looking at guys that can execute that on a consistent basis.
Right, just about every practice we've seen DJ and Bryce hook up deep. Considering that DJ's spring reps were a little limited, are you surprised that that's happened so quickly?
I am excited that it's happening. You're exactly right, Joe. I mean, it seems like they do connect every practice. You got two really smart players. DJ's a really smart player, very savvy and instinctive, and then he's got the speed to go with it. And I think, you know, Bryce obviously same way. And, you know, I think that's looked good. We're excited about that.
What did you see on the interception by Bryce?
The one over the middle. I got to go back and look at it on film. You know, we had a play action pass called, and my eyes were kind of outside to the Z receiver because we had done something different with that route. So I was more focused out there, and then just turned and looked and saw the interception late. So I got to see it on tape.
Deion Jones is working out today. What have you seen from your inside linebackers, and how do you feel about that group?
Feel good about the group. You know, but we always, you know, you know, Shaq and Frankie, you know, Camus, it's a good group, but, you know, we need depth, we need, you know, it's a long season, right? Deion's been a good player, so, you know, get him in here, work him out, and then, you know, sit down and make a decision on that here pretty quick.
Frank, when Bryson has thrown an interception in practice, what have you noticed about him and his characteristics as he bounces back in that response?
I mean, he's just pretty unflappable. I mean, whether he's, you know, throwing a deep ball for a 40-yard gain, or if it does happen, you know, the one or two interceptions he's thrown, it's, you know, just you move on to the next play. That's got to be the mentality. If I was ever, you know, I don't think you have to have that conversation with Bryce, but if you did, it's like, in this league, if you can't handle that, it's a long road ahead because you're going to make mistakes, you're going to throw interceptions, so you just need to learn to move on to the next play.
All right, thank you. This is the last one, Joe.
CJ Anderson, second, we saw him from that.
Yeah, it was groin, so I don't know the severity of it, but you know, so he'll get that evaluated and we'll get that information to you as soon as we can.
All right, thank you, folks. Thanks, man.